Hey there, listeners. Well, what if disruption wasn't something to fear, but something to embrace? The reality is, change doesn't wait for anyone. The question is, are you and your team prepared to turn disruption into your greatest opportunity? Let's dive in and let's discuss.
Welcome to Leadership is Changing. Each week, we and our guests provide information and insights through exploring leading change. This is taking your leadership to another level by finding the balance between executive excellence and personal well-being through stories that inspire real change. It's time to adapt in our fast-moving world when leadership is changing with your host, Denis Gianoutsos.
Welcome to the Ask Denis episode. This is a freestyle episode where I'm asked a question by our listeners or I share my thoughts, experiences and insights from working with many leaders around the globe. Hey there, listeners. Well, great to be with you. And, well, we're nearly at the end of another month of the year. And, of course, we're going to have completed 2/3 of the year. Where is that time gone? So, time for you to really start thinking about how do you bring the year to a close over the last third, and by really driving it and pushing to get towards your goals that you're aiming for. Now is not the time to give up. For some of you in the Northern Hemisphere, you are on summer holidays or just had that. It is time for you to turn that leaf and get on with it. And for those of you in the Southern Hemisphere, winter is almost over and you're about to go into a new season called spring. And so with spring is all about new stuff and new beginnings, and why not? So let's get into it, and looking forward to seeing your progress for all of you throughout the rest of this year. Well, listeners, this week I had the privilege to speak at a conference in Christchurch, New Zealand. And the conference theme was a powerful one: turning disruption into opportunity. And it was a real privilege, and thank you to the organisers for actually asking me to come along and speak and share about things. Now, disruption is everywhere, and it comes at us fast and often without warning. I always talk about it comes and smacks you from behind. The truth is this: change is inevitable, and it doesn't wait for anyone. The section that I spoke in was around, and the theme for that was embrace disruption, preparing yourself and your team, hence the title of this episode. I talked about being an adaptive leader, but there were some questions that I put towards the audience, not just to say it, but I'm wanting them to go away and really think about these questions about certain things. But you know what? It got me thinking a little bit later on about how do you prepare yourself and how do you prepare your team? And more importantly, what do you need to put in place right now to ensure that both you and your people and your team are ready when disruption hits? And I've got to say this to you. Whatever you're thinking about or whatever you're talking about in relation to this topic, it starts with you. You as the leader, you as the individual. So, in preparing yourself, see, for you to lead through disruption, you've got to be on top of your game. And that means sharpening yourself in 3 key areas which I think are important. Now, there are others, but here are 3 for you to think about. Number 1 is mindset, is what I call it. But it's about your mental fitness and toughness. Because you see, your mindset is a foundation or a base. And you need to build resilience and mental fitness so you can stand strong in the face of uncertainty. A strong, positive vibration that your mindset and yourself will give off attracts the right energy and the opportunities. It's not just about surviving disruption. It's actually about you thriving in it. So that's number 1, mindset, mental fitness and toughness. Number 2 is physical fitness. But I'm going to sort of put a tagline to that, and that is energy to lead is where I'm going. You see, leadership is a high-performance role. And to show up at your best, you need to move train, and look after your body. Now, people say to me, but what have I got to do? Well, it could be walking, could be running, strength training, or even doing daily stretch routines. But at least it's doing something, but doing it consistently. Physical fitness will fuel your energy, and energy is contagious. No one wants to work for the knuckle dragger who's always about doom and gloom and everything's too hard. They want to work for a leader and follow a leader where the energy is contagious. Number 3 is lifelong learning. In other words, stay curious. You know what? Disruption is going to actually expose gaps in your thinking. And so leaders who stay curious, who keep learning, who keep developing themselves continuously, are the ones who adapt quickly. This is what I'm going to say to you, leaders. Never stop asking questions, exploring new ideas, and developing fresh perspectives. I was speaking to a few leaders today throughout the breaks and so forth, and some of them say it was a great reminder when I told them about asking powerful questions. And for some of them, they've forgotten to do that and they need to remind themselves to do it. But there was one or two who talked about that they do it, but they do it in a way that actually people sort of puts people on the edge. It's not about what you say, but it's also how you say it or how you ask those questions. And so I'm going to really encourage you to keep learning, but keep asking a lot of questions. Now that's about preparing you. Let's talk about preparing your team. So it's about lifting your team. And there's sort of 3 steps around that. Number 1 is model the way. In other words, your team will actually mirror your mindset. They're going to mirror your energy, and they're going to mirror your habits. So if you embrace disruption, they will do that as well. Number 2 is equip them. Give the team the skills, the tools, and the confidence that they need to navigate uncertainty. This is the key that I want you to take away from this piece. Invest in their growth. The third area is create a safe space for change. So encourage people to experiment with things and learn from it, and allow failure to be seen as part of their progress. When your team sees you showing up fit, mentally, physically, then what they will do is that they will follow that as well. Well, here's some takeaways for you to start thinking about. Disruption is inevitable. So is change. But how you prepare determines whether it will become a roadblock for you or an opportunity. Listeners, it always starts with you. I'm going to encourage you to work on your mindset. Get and stay physically fit. Keep learning, because when you prepare yourself, you can prepare your team, and together, you'll not just embrace disruption, but you're going to turn that into a competitive advantage. Hey listeners, if today's message resonated with you, what I'd love you to do is share this episode with someone who's facing disruption in their world. And remember that leaders who embrace change, they're the ones that lead change. So, stay deliberate, stay strong, and keep leading in a world that never stands still. Hey listeners, that's it for this episode. It's always a pleasure being with you. Thanks for joining me on the Leadership is Changing podcast. Until next time, bye for now.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Leadership is Changing with your host, Denis Gianoutsos. Each week, we and our guests provide information and insights through exploring leading change, inspiring executives and leaders to adapt and lead a bigger game in a fast-moving world.